Genius New York has helped us a lot in business development, making all the connections, all the warm intros to the market that was very much new to us, that has meant the world. So just being able to tell the story, and hopefully people will relate and feel the emotions of what I'm trying to convey.
What you just heard is how animals have signaled danger, territory, and movement for thousands of years. Today, we can finally decode that communication and prevent over $50 billion in human-wildlife conflicts. We are Flox Intelligence, and we are building wildlife intelligence to protect the world's critical infrastructure. So why are these conflicts happening? It's because human infrastructure continues to expand to wildlife habitats. And that's why human-wildlife conflicts are now happening every single day, from catastrophic bird strikes to costly train collisions and deadly car collisions. A single wildlife strike can easily cost over $1 million. And this is the $50 billion problem that's only getting worse. Our attempts to fix this have relied on legacy deterrents like fences or pyrotechnics. But animals are way too smart and adapt quickly. So what if there was another way? I'm Sarah. My background is in transportation, and I have huge passion for linguistics and wildlife. And this is where they intersect. At Flox Intelligence, we are literally decoding animal communication and applying it to speak to wildlife in their own language, telling them to stay away from critical infrastructure. To do this, we have our AI engineers working side by side our wildlife biologists. And the result? A powerful device with wildlife intelligence right on the edge, built for the most remote areas and extreme environments. And here's how it works. Once the unit detects an animal approaching a critical infrastructure, it deters them based on the species, the real-time behavior, and the context. And it also learns with each interaction. And this process allows us to build one of the largest and most valuable data sets on animal communication in the world. And it's not only thanks to our edge device. The Flox Intelligence software is today deployed directly into trains in Sweden, in global partnership with Alstom, the leading train manufacturer. And here's what we say to moose. And we don't stop there. We own patents to be both on trains and on drones, and are pursuing other integrations as well, like trucks or even robotic dogs. Oh, and if you're thinking, wouldn't it be cool to have this in my garden? Yes, it would, and we will have you covered in the future. So how did we get here? We've been validating for 5 years in Scandinavia and received global recognition. So I knew it was time to go global. So I packed my bags and my family and moved to Syracuse. Here I officially registered Flox Intelligence Inc. and made Syracuse our global headquarters. So we are here to stay. I hired a Syracuse native as our chief revenue officer, and we are building our commercial team from here. We also hired bioacoustic PhDs from both Syracuse University and Cornell. And perhaps you will begin to see us around. We are in conversations with Syracuse Airport to protect coyotes, We are in conversations with National Grid to keep squirrels away from substations, and many more. We are also bringing manufacturing to central New York. By the end of this year, all of our edge units for the whole North American market will be produced by a local manufacturer. And it makes sense, because look where we were in September before joining Genius New York. And this is where we are today. We are trusted by global leaders across North America, Europe, and Australia, including commercial contracts with Denver International Airport, Parks Canada, or USDA. Since 2020, more than 60,000 animals have been successfully deterred. There is 60,000 potential accidents that didn't happen, and millions in prevented losses. We are Flox Intelligence, and we are creating a world where humans and wildlife coexist. Thank you. And for the Q&As, I would like to also include my co-founder and CTO, Thomas, on stage.
Thank you. Great presentation. You talked about a number of different applications. So what is your beachhead? So which market is going to take you from startup to scale, and why?
I would say it's already the first one. So right now we are mainly focusing on the airports, and just there we have $12 billion market. So we are going after the first 300 airports that have the biggest problems with wildlife strike, according to FAA. And just there we can scale up. But we are talking about other multi-billion segments. So private gardens is a huge one. We will be releasing a new product for the consumers soon. And yeah, do you want to add some others? I think that's it.
I mean, any infrastructure, so it's a pretty wide scope. I mean, we worked with roads already in Sweden, railways, a lot of different infrastructure.
So in your presentation, you talked about the importance of your data set. And when we talked yesterday, you talked about combining public sources and your proprietary data set. Can you give us a little bit of a better picture of what's unique about your data set that is powering your AI? If I want to replicate it, how much time, how much money, what do I need to create a data set? What's kind of the value of that?
Do you want to?
Yeah, I mean, the hard part is nature. There is not much technology in nature, so you have to actually deploy something, and you have to deploy something that works, and works over long periods of time, and that's what we built. We have like plus 6 months of battery time. You can deploy it in any type of environment. We down to like negative 40 Celsius and up to like 50 Celsius. So, and that's a tough challenge. You can't replicate that without the product, and then you need distribution with good customers.
So you talked about your number of deterrences, but obviously there's two parts as you laid out. There's deterrence, but deterrence relies on the detection. So how do you account for success bias in your deterrence rate? How, have you validated that your detection rate is actually good?
Can I take it? So we've spent more than 5 years working with the leading wildlife biologists. So we've run countless trials where we have our edge devices, and we have trail cams that are also looking into, is there wildlife activity, did we miss any? So we've done a lot of different case studies where we have seen that we can in fact detect the majority of those animals. We have not had problems there. The biggest thing for us is the deterrence, right? So make sure that we know the different playlists for each groups, and each species and each even group locally is very different. So that's kind of where we've been tweaking the most.
Thank you.
So a big piece of the system that you're advertising is the fact that it learns from encounters. Can you explain exactly how that process works, how the system learns?
Yeah, so the learning takes place in the cloud. So our units connect to the cloud and push all data up into the cloud. And then we take that data and we analyze it and we retrain our model when needed to. Usually we have models that's specific for regions, but then we also cross-train across regions of different species. So it's an ongoing loop. So whenever we have an interaction, that data gets pushed to the cloud, and then we'll start and analyze it and see if there's something we need to retrain with.
And to be clear, that's human in the loop analysis and changing.
Yes, there's some humans in the loop, yes. Yeah.
So how are you accounting for risks of either sending the wrong signal or even other macro level environmental impacts of changing the patterns of wildlife as a result of your technology?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of look at it the opposite way, where we actually help wildlife. So think about fencing with a road. It prevents animals from actually doing the natural thing where they're supposed to go. In Sweden, we have wolves that have not been able to go cross-border because of the roads that have been built. And our technology can be a fence when it's needed to, and then not be a fence and let them pass when there's no traffic. So that's kind of how we like to think about it. I think we're actually providing something that's adaptive and actually works with nature, not against nature, like most other solutions do.
Thank you so much.